Hi everyone, I'm going to do an art journal page today and I'm starting from the focal point. I took this photo in Budapest and I really wanted it to be a focal point, so here it is. I just printed it on printer paper. I want to take it out of the paper. I'm leaving a white, a little bit of white around my photo because it would just help me, let's say, blend it into the background. So that's why. Of course I can cut it just where the photo ends, but I prefer it this way. Each one will do what is best for himself. I don't know. Okay, so I've got this photo. I also got some leftover printed bark photos. Again, I took these photos in Budapest. So, and I've got leftovers, and I thought the colors worked very nicely with this. So I'm thinking about also gluing some pieces of this. And I've got some dyed paper that tore, and I thought maybe, just maybe, I'll put little pieces of it also in the background. Not sure yet. So I'm going to start with this, and I'm just need to figure out if I want to. No, I don't like things too much in the center, so I think I'll just glue it. I'm going to glue it here. Yeah. So I'm just going to put some glue stick in the back. I don't feel it needs a stronger glue, and because it's just printer paper, and also I prefer not to mess right now with wet glue. So, okay. Here we go. Let's see. I hope it's straight. Seems like it. And I can always go in and add. That's good. Okay. So I've got my focal point, and now I'm going to build around it. Now, because as I said, these are working with the colors and they are interesting, I think I'm going to put them somehow in the background. And I'm not getting attached there. As you can see, I've already put some paint here. I've got white, I've got this light blue, grayish light blue, I've got some gray, and I've got some lavender here. Again, things that I thought will work nicely with my photo. And I'm going to put a lot of paint, so as I said, I'm not getting attached to anything that I'm gluing on my background. Maybe it will get covered completely, I don't know. I'm just playing with what I have, and we'll see where it gets me. I even went on top of the photo, as you can see. Let's see. I'm going to take a little bit of this one. Now, you don't have to add more pieces of another photo or whatever. You can just move on to the next stage of smearing paint, which is going to be the next thing I'm going to do. Okay, let's see. Maybe Again, I can always cover it if I don't like it, so it really doesn't matter. And I've already managed to dip my hand into the wet paint that is on the side. Okay, so let's see, maybe take a piece. Yeah, what's the worst that could happen? I won't like it, I'll cover it. Another piece. Maybe something like that. So as I said, I'm going to smear paint. I'm also planning on some stenciling. So really don't get attached to anything. And if you are attached to something, then don't put any paint on top, or just make sure that the paint is diluted with water, so some of the details will show through. No. I'll put this here and I'll trim the excess that's sticking out of my page later. No. Okay, so I've got, or maybe now, I can do it now. It's just a glue stick, so I really like the texture that I have on this, so I'm thinking of putting down another one. I'm talking visual texture, not really texture. Okay, so this is nice, and at first I picked this brush, I don't know why, but it's a little bit too large, and I do want something soft just because it makes easier to smear paint. Most of the time I will even use my fingers in this kind of a page, but let's see, no matter how many brushes I have, I never find the one that is exactly what I want. Whatever, I'm taking this one. Now I'm dipping it into water, but I'm dabbing excess. I just want my brush to be a little bit wet, because it will help smear the paint. So I'm dipping into the light blue, and I'm starting here, and I'm dipping into the white, and I'm not changing, and I'm not cleaning my brush. I'm just using each time another color and switching. So I'm also getting in between colors. And if I want to go here, but I don't want it to completely cover, I just dipped my brush into water. And it's still too opaque, but never mind. I can always reach also for a baby wipe and remove some of what I don't like. But what I do like is it's still giving me this, how do I explain it? This feel of texture. So it's not flat, like I've got texture here for the tree bark, and here texture of the tree bark, and here is the texture from crumpling the paper when I dyed it with all kinds of paints. I'm trying to add a little bit of water just to go softer. And white, so I will have variation in the colors. Okay. Just adding more whitewash so it would be softer, and again it can also be done with makeup sponge. Makeup sponge does a really nice blending and smearing, so you can use that if you feel more like it, and you can use your fingers. I'm just muting down a little bit of the details. Here we go. So that's just the start, and just play with it until you feel you like what you're getting. Yeah. Okay, step back. I like it. And now for starting to decorate what I have. I've put a lot of paint for a little page. Okay, so I've picked this stencil. I'm thinking of doing some of this on the page. But I need for everything to dry. Also, the wet paint raised a little bit of my photo, but that's okay. I will wait for it to dry and then I'll go over it. So I'll be back. Okay, so my background is dry, and now I want to stencil these elements randomly around. Usually when you are building a page from all kinds of mediums and details and textures, you need to have something that will unify everything and will make everything look more cohesive. That's why I'm doing this, and I like it. So before I do, I took out two. I got weathered wood and I've got stormy sky. I want to test them first on a white page to see how they look. I think I really like this one, and I'm worried that the stormy sky maybe will be too dark. No, maybe I'll use both of them. Okay, so both are an option. I'm using makeup brushes. Now you can stencil with acrylics. I just want to use something dry again so I don't have to wait for things to dry. I'm going to flip my journal, so maybe it would be easier to stencil here near the spiral. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so now that I've seen that one color is darker, I'm thinking I'll start with the stormy sky here at the edge, and as I move inside into the page, I'll use the weathered wood. Let's see. Ooh, this is nice. Okay, so, and as I said, this can be done with acrylics, so you don't have to have the same exact thing. I'm switching to weathered wood, especially now that I'm on top of my photo, so I want to be a little bit more gentle. And if you don't see what you're doing, you can always hold the stencil and lift and see what's going on. Like I see that I need here more details, but here it's quite nice. So here we go. Oh yeah. Sometimes things work better than you thought. Okay, I'm going to keep stenciling, and again I'm going to use the darker shade towards the edge. And then switch to the lighter one. And you can, even with one color, you can work on something that is more dark and light just by the more you press, the darker it will be, and the more you add, the darker it will be. So you can also play with that. So I'm thinking that I want a little bit more here, but how do I place it? No, maybe like this. Okay, so once again, darker in the corner. Okay, yeah, here it's just a hint, and that's okay. I don't much like here where it gotten too much into the photo, but that's all right. It doesn't need to be perfect. So now I'm doing this corner, and let's see. Just doing the same thing again, keeping the dark blue to the edges of my page. I'm using the makeup brushes just because it gives a softer look, but you can use if you've got the Tim Holtz blenders, the sponge blenders, then by all means use them. If not, you can use makeup sponges that are more accessible. Yes, definitely. I like it. You know what? I'm thinking of using this just to break down and have another graphic shape. I don't know, just a little bit different. Yes, and another one here, and it gives me some kind of a frame to all this. So I'm doing the same thing here. Yeah, let's place it here. And another one. I'm already in love with this page, and I'm thinking just a little bit more of this. Oh mama, ooh, I love it. I'm surprising myself, what do you know? And maybe just a hint, just picking up details from the stencil and having fun with it. Yeah. Yes, okay, so that's done, and I haven't finished because I wanted something stenciled more in the forefront and darker, and I have this stencil, but now I'm not quite sure that that's what I'm going for. Maybe, yeah, I'm going for it. Okay. But I want it very crisp and very precise, so I'm thinking instead of stenciling with acrylic paint, maybe I'll just go and no, I'm going to stencil with acrylic paint. That's it. I decided. I've got this. It almost looks black, but it's a very dark blue, and it has a little bit of grayish tint to it. You probably can't see it, and I'm thinking of stenciling like this. Let's see. Now, this acrylic paint is from the cheap store. It's not very opaque, but I'll deal with it, and even if it will just give me a hint, and then when it's dry I can go and do some fixing on top of it with some permanent marker. Yeah, maybe, you know what, I'm thinking about adding some dark brown, because I've got those colors here. Maybe it will work, maybe it won't. Maybe it will just look like black, I don't know, because it's so dark. Whatever will be, will be. Once again, I'm not overly concerned because I can, when it's dry, I can go and do the fixing with markers that are more precise. even with a paint that is not quite opaque, either if it's because of the quality, you can always wait each time for a layer to dry and go and do another layer, and it will give you the result that you want. Okay, so here at the top you can hardly see it. And here I want more. We'll see. Okay, so I've got this. I need for it to dry before I'm attempting to put some marker on it, or gel roll pen or acrylic marker, whatever. It doesn't matter. There are permanent markers, whatever you feel like it, even felt pens if that's what is easier for you. So I'm going to let this dry completely before I continue. I'll be back. Okay, so this is dry and I decided on gel roll pen. Now this is a very dark gray that I've picked, and I can either put the stencil back on and go into all the small places because it has a very fine point. That's why I picked the gel roll pen, or I can just do whatever I want and connect and make whatever shape that I want. Just got stuck there. Okay, so here again I can go in if I'm really concerned about the details, like if some of the branches just didn't stencil very well, so I can go like that, and I can go freehand and fix whatever I feel needs fixing. I can add also. There is no rule how to use a stencil. You can do whatever feel right to you. Already starting to take shape just by going and adding little details. Here we go. My gel roll pens are from all over the place, and I started having too many sets that were laying around, so I just bought this fabric wrap that's supposed to be for pencils, and first I thought that I will put my my Inktense pencils here, but then I decided that I'm putting all my gel roll pens in here. And so this is it. I don't have any recommendation. Most of them are from the cheap store or from AliExpress or Temu. Whatever I can get my hands on, that's what I'm buying. So now I'm just going and fixing what I think needs fixing. All the embellishments here I wanted to be faded and in the back, but this one I wanted to be precise and in the forefront, so that's why I'm doing it. Just going with the flow. He didn't pick up the little details from the stencils, from the stencil. I don't know what's going on with me today. It's gonna take time, but I think it's worth it. Sometimes it's all in the little details. Well, maybe it won't take a long time. And you can always scroll forward if it's not something that interests you. Me going all over the little details. Looking good. More than I thought. I'm thinking that maybe I will need a little bit more of this. Maybe, no, I'm not sure, maybe here, but I'll finish the fixing and then I'll decide if I need more. Sometimes just easier to turn the page around. I'm all for whatever works and makes your life easier. Yeah, almost done. Okay, now I'm taking a step back to see if I need something more or if I can leave it as is, because I'm really tempted to go all over with this kind of vine. I don't know, it's tempting. Forgot this. Like berries or something. Whatever, doesn't really matter. Just fixing. Yeah. You know what? I'm thinking that I'm leaving it as is, but I want something more like black in the background, and now I'm thinking maybe crackle, something that will look like crackle. And I have some stamps. I just need to find them. I found one of them. They are all under background stamps, but I have a lot of background stamps, so now I need to go and find something that will work, because I know I have more than one crackle stamp. Never mind, I'll use this. Just a hint of black in several places. I could also have taken a text stamp and stamped it all around, which I really like doing, you know, but decided to go with this. And let's see, I just want random yes. Okay, I'm leaving it. This is it. I like it, and I'm not going to tempt myself to do more stenciling or anything. Just leaving it be. I need to remove the masking tape here. Probably should do it with a heat tool. Never mind. Here we go. So this is it, but you know what? I keep saying this is it, but now I'm thinking that I want to go around my page and darken the edges. So I'm taking this ink pad. This is a cheap one that I always keep for this, because through time the paper just I don't know the correct word, just erodes the sponge or the mat that is the ink pad. So now let's see how I'll do this side, maybe with a small brush. Yeah, just go around gently. Yes, definitely this is it. Love this page. So I hope you'll have fun doing something similar. Take a photo or a postcard or whatever and try and create background around it. Have fun with all the elements. I hope you liked it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for leaving me comments down below. I'll be seeing you in my next video. Bye for now.